Hey guys, it's Luke. Today I am on a rooftop in Puerto Rico. This is the Buddha behind me and some nice clouds. Now in this video I want to answer one of your questions. I have a question from Johan today. Apologies if your name is not right. I'm going to be answering that in just a second. But before we do that, I want to ask you to leave your questions in the comments. Please, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments of this video. I will be going through them this week, and then next week I will answer some of the better questions. Make them good ones, okay? Also, if you like the video, give it a like, and why not subscribe? Okay, so the question is, what is a native English speaker thinking about when they're making sentences? What is a native speaker really thinking about when they're making a sentence? Are they thinking about the grammar, past perfect tense, present perfect tense, future tense? Are they thinking about the pronunciation? Are they thinking about the right word? Well, the answer is the same for every native speaker of any language. Think about yourself. What's your first language? When you speak that language, when you're making sentences in your language, are you thinking about how to put the sentence together? Or are you just thinking about what you want to say, your meaning? Maybe if you're describing something, you have a picture of that thing in your head, you're visualizing it. Or if you want to make a point, or you're just thinking about that point, and then the words kind of just come out of your mouth. Now, maybe, you want to find the perfect word, so sometimes you are thinking of words, but generally speaking, anybody who is communicating in their first language will not be too focused on pronunciation and grammar and things like that. Same for English speakers. When I'm speaking right now, I'm not thinking about pronunciation, how to say the word correctly. I'm not thinking about grammar. It just comes out of my mouth. And it's the same for you, right? When you're speaking your language. So now the question is, why is it that way for us? And as an English learner, how do you get closer to that when you're speaking English? Because you're learning English. How can you get closer to that? So first, let's talk about habits, okay? Habits and exposure. The reason that I don't have to think about English when I'm speaking is that I grew up in an English-speaking environment from the time that I was a baby, and I've spoken English my whole life, and so all of those things are deep habits. If I were learning a language now for the first time, I would have to think about all those things at the same time. Pronunciation, grammar, which word to use. Do I know any idioms or phrases I can use? And my meaning, all of that together. When you're doing all of that at the same time, it's like trying to put too many things into a small pipe, right? They don't all fit. This is what I call your bandwidth. People, when they're talking about something they're not used to talking about in English, and English is not their first language, they struggle. They make more pronunciation mistakes, more grammar mistakes. Why? Because you can only focus on so much. So you need to, as much as possible, get English to become a habit, pronunciation habits, grammar habits, so that whenever you want to talk about something in the past tense just comes out of your mouth. When you want to say something correctly, usually that pronunciation, it just comes out of your mouth. And then you can focus more on just your meaning. And you don't have to spend all of your concentration on all of those things because it's very hard, maybe even not possible. So my advice is to think of yourself more like a baby learning the language. Surround yourself with the language and practice it as much as you can. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice it, repeating pronunciation sounds until it becomes a habit, writing so that you can master grammar, speaking as much as you can. The more that you practice, the more confident you will feel. And the more all of those things will become deeper habits and the closer you will get to when you're speaking those things just coming out correctly. So you can just focus on what you want to say. You know, when babies learn languages, babies are great at learning languages. They soak up all of the sounds called phonemes, all of the words, all of the grammar structures, and they don't even know it. Babies are great at learning languages. Great. Babies are language geniuses. Then after the age of about 2, that ability starts to go down and down and down and down. So that if you're learning a language at age 50, it's not that it's too late, but it's going to be much, much harder for you to master a second language. So my advice then to you is think of yourself as a kind of English baby, English learning baby, growing up in as close as you can get to a full English environment. There's a reason people say, oh, when I moved to America and got a job in America, my English improved a lot. There's a reason that that works, because you're surrounding yourself with it. You're using it every day, right? You have to get as close to that as you can so that those habits can go deeper, so that you can start thinking in English, so that it becomes so natural for you to use the past tense correctly that you no longer think about it. That should be the goal, so that when you're speaking, it just comes out exactly as you want to say it. And all you're thinking about is your meaning, what you want to say, the content, the idea, or the picture, or whatever it is. Okay? So, think about that, and once you've thought about it, try to build a language environment for yourself. Try to work on those habits so that you can start thinking in English. Build yourself an English language environment and try to enjoy it. Find something you like about it. That's very important. And kind of see yourself as, in a way, a baby coming up in the language, learning it naturally, using it a lot. All right. So, if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. Leave your questions in the comments. Give the video a like if you like it, and I will see you in the next one.